Hello everyone, my name is Gaurang and in this video I am going to demo CareerVault. It is a RAG application that I implemented to act as my professional digital twin. This application uses my resume and portfolio data to answer questions related to my professional history in real time. I'm first going to demo the app and then I'm going to walk through how I approached building this app. So as you can see, if you go to gaurangdave.me/cv, you can see this app in action. And you get when you launch the app, you get a text box to answer your question, to ask your questions, and you also get pre-built question pills to get started to warm up. So I'll just start with that. The first question I ask is, who are you? And the app should answer in first person as if you are asking me who I am, and I'm trying to give my professional background to you. So like I said, it says I'm Gaurang Dave, a senior software engineer with 13 years of experience, currently transitioning my expertise into AI/ML domain. So it directly answered question as if you are chatting to me, right? Next, I'll try and ask some specific question like related to my hackathons. So I'm asking, have you participated in any hackathons? So again, in the background, it will go through all my historical information that I've fed it, extract few hackathons, and generate answer for you, giving you the summary. So like I said, it mentions all the hackathons I have participated in so far. Starts with the Vancouver Data Jam Hackathon, where we won the first prize for our story vision app. It also talks about Banana Split Stories, which was a hackathon, online hackathon I participated in, and also a very old Android developers hackathon that was like years ago. But it came up with these projects along with like a brief summary on what was the idea, what technologies were used, things like that, right? And the RAG also has contextual information, so it knows our chat history. So if I directly go ahead and ask, tell me about the first one, it knows I'm talking about the hackathon projects that it just told me. And by first one, I mean the Story Vision hackathon. So it's going to again bring more details about the Story Vision hackathon and give you all the details. So here it again brought up when was the hackathon, what were my specific duties, and which technologies I used, and what was the final outcome, right? So that was it for the demo. You can ask it more questions about my education, the certifications, any professional questions, any professional queries, and it should be able to answer these questions. Now let's just quickly walk through how I built this. Sorry, first step to building this RAG application was creating the knowledge base. So I went through my email history, my Google Drive history, and collected all the resumes that I had created over time. Luckily, I create whenever I edit a resume, I create a new version of it. So I had like lot of resumes from like 2008. Along with that, I also had the data that I used to feed, that I used to create content for my portfolio website. So I combined those two, used the LLM to create a more structured knowledge base that I can feed it to the RAG application. And I used that knowledge base to create LlamaIndex nodes. And the idea was to embed these nodes and use it in the RAG application, right? So the first version of RAG was just the basic embedded vector database that I just loaded into the memory using LlamaIndex, and it didn't have any advanced search or retrieving techniques. And I simply asked the question, and it would use the vector database to retrieve the answer, retrieve and generate the answer. I asked it a few questions, and it passed the vibe, but I didn't have any exact numerical metrics to judge how well the application was doing. So that was my second step. I wanted to create a baseline of how this basic RAG is doing, and then build upon it and try to improve it. To do that, I again used Gemini 2.5 Pro to create a test dataset, which was like which used the ground truth and generated questions based on the ground truth. And I created around 50 or 60 such test database questions. And then I use the combination of those questions, the ground truth, and the retrieved data and the generated response to evaluate the RAG. So again, like I said, the goal was to mainly see, like, other than just visually judging it, can we get a more metric-based judgment on how well the application is doing, right? So I followed two key matrices. One was the faithfulness, which checked whether the RAG is hallucinating or not, and second was correctness, on how correctly it retrieved the ground truth and answered the questions, right? The first version was, as expected, it wasn't performing very well. Both faithfulness and correctness scores were around 0.5 or 0.6 each. To fix that, I updated the RAG with advanced techniques. Like, I first implemented hybrid search, where instead of just relying on the vector similarity, I also added fuzzy search using BM25. I also implemented re-ranking to rank the retrieved chunks correctly. Along with that, I also implemented small to big retrieval, where while retrieval it would search for smaller chunks, but then during generation the smaller chunks were replaced by a larger chunk with more context information in it. So smaller chunks are easy and accurate to grab, but the larger chunk provides more context, so the RAG can generate better answers. And also metadata injection, where I made sure the important metadata was inserted in all the chunks. So for example, when we talk about the project name and the technologies that we use in the project name is the metadata. If it is not present in all the different chunks of project description, sometimes it would mismatch the project name and the technologies, or the project name and the problem statement that we are solving, right? So all these techniques further helped us improve the faithfulness and the correctness of the application. And at the end of it, I got the score of around 0.9 and above for both these metrics. And that was when I thought it was ready for production deployment. For deployment, my portfolio is deployed on it's a Next.js app deployed on Firebase app hosting. So I wanted to deploy it in the same GCP ecosystem. So I converted the RAG to a FastAPI service, Dockerized it, and deployed it on Google Cloud Run. And I make sure the image size is smaller by making sure the dependencies that I install are CPU only dependencies that the application is using, and not GPU dependencies, which originally had scaled the image size to 5 GB or so. I use Firestore to store all the chat history, and use that chat history to provide contextual information while answering the questions. And finally, I also added a cloud scheduler that pings my Cloud Run every 15 or 20 minutes, so that it doesn't suffer from cold start. Before doing that, the cold start would take 30 to 40 seconds to start the server and respond back, which total almost took around 1 minute. But now, as you saw in the demo, it was almost instantaneous. So with all these enhancements, even the production version of the app was more fast, more responsive, and provided quality answers. And with this robust architecture, we finally have the working version that you just saw. I do have a plan to add more features in future. For example, first thing I'm going to try next is implementing the hide retrieval method and see if it can further improve the quality of the answers. Second, I want to see if I can generate dynamic questions based on previous questions and the answer. The idea is to update the shortcuts to directly provide relevant questions that naturally you might want to ask next. If you are talking about a project, if you ask about the technology, the next question might be about the relevant outcome, or might be related to another project. So it just comes up with those recommendations. And I was also exploring how can I improve the efficiency. By efficiency, I mean how can I speed up the application. and also reduce the cost. So caching was something that I wanted to try, where I cached the questions along with the answers, and whenever a user asks the new question, I do a similarity vector similarity comparison to see if it's similar to any of the cached question and try to answer it from the cache. So these are some of the fun experiments that I'll continue to do. I hope you like the demo. If you want to try again, go to my website on coverangularway.me/cv. Do try it and let me know what you think about it, and if there's any way I can improve it. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.